Covers, covers, covers. I don't think the importance of covers to the success of your Teacher Pay Teacher store can be overemphasized. They are the doorway to your store, and you want people to enter into that door. Hello everyone, my name is Sherry from Rolling Acres Education. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is not your first time. And today we're talking covers. And I believe that next to your product, your covers deserve the most of your attention. Now the good news is, once you get that work in and get that cover the way you want it, and I think it's going to take some work for most of us, then it's easy after that. You just change out the text, you changed out the images, and it's not that difficult anymore. But you want to make sure that you put in the work to make your cover the best that you can make it. And I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to share some things that were shared with me because my covers were, in the beginning, they were pretty, but they were inefficient. Now I have professional, what I believe to be effective covers, and I'll share some of those tips with you. But what I think you need to really get a grasp on is how important your covers are, because if you're serious about your Teachers Pay Teachers business and you realize how important those covers are, you're going to put the time in and you're going to make sure those covers are professional and effective. So the first reason they're important is because they're what get people into your store looking at your product. Before someone clicks on your cover, you have no control over things. You have no control over what people are typing into the search bar. You have no control over what all searches you're showing up on and where. You have no control over how many other good products are showing up in that same search, okay? You can't control what other people are doing. But once someone clicks on your cover and comes into your store, they are only looking at your thumbnails, your description, your preview, and your product. You have their undivided attention. So all the other noise from all the other products are shut out once someone clicks on your cover. Once you walk into a store, you are looking at products from that store. You're looking at all the things that are in their store. Now, of course, we're talking about one specific product, but there's things associated with that product that your buyer is looking at. So you have their undivided attention. Number two, you have their motivation, okay? And this is huge. Have you ever been looking for something special for a certain occasion, like you're going somewhere and you need a new dress or a new pair of shoes or a new tie, a new jacket, a new dress shirt, whatever, and you are looking for something special. And so you go shopping, and this, I know, is the old way of going shopping. You go shopping and you're walking down the street and you see a store and you're like, oh, that looks like it may have what I need. And so you go into that store and you want to leave that store with a purchase, okay? Now, I shared in my conversions video that I'll link below, there are reasons people will come into your store and not buy your product that have absolutely nothing to do with your product, okay? But we're talking about people who are coming into your store and wanting a product similar to what you have. And so they want to buy your product because, think about it, when you go into a store and you're looking for that special thing, you want to leave because you want your shopping to be done. Not only is the vendor going to be disappointed if you leave without a purchase, you're going to be disappointed because, first of all, you've wasted all that time in the shop and walked out with nothing. Second of all, you're going to have to start all over again. You're going to have to go to all these other stores and try to find a store that has your product. And you're also starting to get a little worried that you're not going to find what it is you are looking for. So when that buyer, especially if they're looking for something for a certain day, or they're looking for something for a sub-plan, or they're looking for just that right thing to get that concept across to their students, if they come into your store looking for that, they want to click add to cart and purchase that product. They're going to be disappointed if your product's not what they were looking for. So they are highly motivated to buy your product. Number three, once someone clicks on your cover, you start to get some real numbers and some real information. When they click on your cover, you register a view. Now you know how many people are actually clicking on your product and looking. And that kind of even helps you with that other stuff, because if nobody's clicking, if you're not even getting views, then it might be your cover. But if people looked at your cover and say, your cover's pretty good, I think it's good, I think you got everything there, and you know you've got a good cover, then you know I need to do something else to get views. I'm not showing up where people can see my cover. You also know whether or not people are clicking on your preview. So if they're not clicking on your preview, if they've clicked on your cover but not your preview, then you know maybe your thumbnails or your description needs some work, and I'll talk about that in the other conversion video, which I'll link that one below also, because those things are important. You know now, okay, my cover must be good, and I'm getting views, people are clicking on my cover, but they're not buying my product, so they're not clicking on my preview, so maybe is it my thumbnail, is it my description, but if they come in and they click on your preview, and they don't buy your product, then maybe it's your preview, maybe it's your product. See what I'm saying? You're getting numbers here. You know how many people are doing certain things once they click on your cover. And if you use UTM codes, which I'm not going to talk about now, but you know where that traffic's coming from. You can get all kinds of numbers once somebody starts clicking on your cover. So your cover is so important, because now you have your buyer's undivided attention. They are motivated to buy your product, and you get some real numbers to help you figure out what's going on now that you've gotten these people into your store. Okay? So I hope you understand how important your covers are to getting your product sold, okay? And again, put that work in, but once you get your cover like you want it, then it's easy to switch it out, okay? Put that work in, pay me now or pay me later. Put it in now, and then you can just change those little things out. So what should a good cover contain? My number one thing is it should contain as much information as possible without overwhelming your buyer. You're not trying to give them everything, okay? You don't want to overwhelm them. If there's no information or too much information, I think your buyer is going to scroll by. Now, all buyers are different, but as a whole, I think they want to see what's in that product, but they don't want to have to spend a lot of time squinting their eyes and looking and trying to figure out what's in your product. So the two main things that I think should be on your cover are your text and some images from your product. Now, your text needs to be the 3 L's, okay? Large, legible, and limited, all right? Your text needs to be large enough so they're not having to squint to see it, and if you do it large, then that limited is going to come automatically. And it needs to be legible, pretty. Everybody loves pretty curly, not everybody, but a lot of people love the fancy handwriting. It's so beautiful for things like wedding invitations. But for your cover, you don't want that, okay? You don't want something that your buyer is going to have to really look at to try to figure out what it says. You want them to look at it and immediately be able to read it because it's large and legible, okay? And limited. I shared before that I used to put everything on my cover, all the types of different activities that were in my product, reading passages, comprehension questions, puzzles, crossword, word search, scramble, blah, 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 and all that stuff. My buyer doesn't want to know all that immediately, okay? They're not going to read it all anyway. I just put lots of variety, lots of choices, 10 different activities, puzzles and games, whatever. You can put something about the type of activities, but don't list them all, okay? So what I do is I kind of put like my title, what it is, who it's for, and then something to grab their attention, like no prep, lots of activities, differentiation, whatever you want to put that you think might attract your buyer to click on your cover, okay? So you want to have large, legible, limited text that gives your buyer the information they need to know about whether or not they should click on your cover. Now, the next thing are images. And here you want to go for professional instead of pretty. And it's not anything wrong with having a pretty cover, but when you focus on the pretty, you're more thinking about the images and the graphics and the pictures, and that's not what your buyer's looking for. They're not looking at covers to see something pretty. They're looking at your covers to get information, and they would rather see images of your product then jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween, bows for Christmas, ornaments for Christmas, and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of maybe use those in like a background situation. Maybe you want to put something there and put some text on it if you can read it and it's clear, whatever, but don't focus on the picture part, okay? Focus on the professionalism, on the images. They want to see pictures of your product. They don't want to see pictures of things that go along with whatever it is you're talking about, all right? So your images need to be from your product, all right? Now, how you arrange those is, depends on how many pictures you want to put up. I do 3. This is how I do mine. I do 3 images from mine. I have 2 kind of in the background with 1 over top of those in the middle, and that's my informational text because my subplans focus around an informational text. They have some questions, they have some puzzles, some activities, some math, some maybe writing, whatever, but they all kind of focus around that informational passage. So that's in my center, and then I try to have like something fun and then something that shows they're also going to do a little bit of work. That's what I put on my cover with the information. So I've got text at the top, I've got my 3 images, and then at the bottom, and then you can do some things to make those things stand out, like you could have your background one color, and then behind the text you can have different colors, you can have your pictures outlined, whatever. If my template for my covers was mine, I would share it, but it's not, and so I'm not going to share something that someone else gave to me. If you're interested in finding out more about how to do covers and getting templates for things like that, I'm going to also link Lauren's membership below. It's amazing. I just told her last night we had a challenge, and I'm like, I cannot believe all we get for this price. It just blows my mind. So check that out. She gives you templates for how to do covers, how to do descriptions, how to do thumbnails and all that. And that's another thing about your covers. My thumbnails are just kind of modifications of my covers. Once I got my cover done, then I also have my thumbnails. So anyway, here's some examples of what my covers used to look like. You see how I focused on pictures and graphics and fancy writing and all that stuff. You don't know really what you're getting. If you take the time to read that, you will, but who wants to read all that? These are what my covers look now. I have the 3. I focus on my informational passage, something fun, something educational, and as little text as possible, maybe something at the bottom to grab their attention. I kind of highlight the text. And so these are how I do my covers, and I hope that if nothing else, you got out of this, how important your covers are, and you are motivated to spend the time getting those covers just like they should be, okay? Again, I hope this was helpful. I hope you are successful in your Teachers Pay Teachers business. Just remember, you've got this, God's got you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.